Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Snowbeck. Today we are going to start Unit 5. We're going to do section 5.1 and it's on ratios and proportions. First, I'd like you to fill in the definition of a ratio. A ratio is the comparison of two quantities using division. So can you please write that in the box on your note sheet? A comparison of two quantities using division. Let's jump into an example. Number 1, 2 tablespoons of top the tater contains 60 calories. 50 of the calories are from fat. Find the ratio of fat calories to total calories in 2 tablespoons of top the tater. So we're looking for what's the ratio of fat calories to total calories. Well, in 2 tablespoons, there's 60 calories, 50 are from fat. So to write the ratio, we're going to say 50 out of 60. So 50 of the calories out of the 60 are from fat. Now, you should always reduce a ratio. 10 divides into 50 5 times, 10 divides into 60 6 times. So 5/6 is the ratio. So long story short, a ratio is basically a fraction comparing two things. Whatever's listed first goes on top of the fraction. Whatever's listed second goes on the bottom of the fraction. One other thing, sometimes you'll see a ratio instead of written as a fraction, you'll see it written with a colon. This is okay too. So both answers, 5/6 or 5:6, would be correct. Number 2. Out of a survey of 100 households, 75 owned at least one car. What is the ratio of car owners to households? Now remember, order matters, so we're going to list the car owners first and then compare that to how many households were surveyed. So 75 owned cars, so it should be 75 out of 100. That can be reduced. 25 goes into 75 3 times, 25 goes into 100 4 times. So 3/4, or you could have also written it 3:4, either way. Next, extended ratios. Extended ratios are used to compare 3 or more quantities. Can you please write that on your sheet? Extended ratios are used to compare 3 or more quantities. Here's an example. Example 3. The ratio of angles in triangle ABC is 3:4:5. Find the measure of each angle in the triangle. So right here, you can see we have an extended ratio, 3:4:5. So what we do is we take those numbers and we put an x behind them and we add them together. So we're going to do 3x plus 4x plus 5x. We're going to add them all together. And in this case, they are the angles in a triangle. Well, we know something about the angles in a triangle. They add up to 180 degrees. Every triangle, the angles add up to 180. Now we have our equation. Now we can solve it. So 3x plus 4x plus 5x, if you combine all of those together, you get 12x equals 180. Divide by 12, x equals, and you might have to type this in your calculator, type in 180 divided by 12, and you should get 15. But 15 is not our final answer. They want us to find the measure of each angle in the triangle. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take our answer, our 15, and we're going to have to plug it in by the 3 and by the 4 and by the 5. So we're going to do 3 times 15 and 4 times 15 and 5 times 15. So again, I would recommend you use your calculator to make sure you don't make any mistakes. 3 times 15 is 45. 4 times 15 is 60. And 5 times 15 is 75. Now these all should be in degrees. So I put that little circle by them. So 45 degrees, 60 degrees, 75 degrees. These are the 3 sizes of the angles in this triangle, and they have a ratio of 3:4:5. Number 4. In a triangle, the ratio of the measures of the sides is 3 to 6 to 8, and the perimeter is 408 inches. Find the length of all 3 sides of the triangle. All right, I see an extended ratio again. So think about this. What do we do again with those numbers? We take them and we put an x behind them and we add them together. So in this case, we're going to take 3, 6, and 8, and we're going to do 3x plus 6x plus 8x, and they add together. They are not angles in a triangle this time. We have a perimeter around the triangle of 408, and these are the ratios of the sides, and so you set it equal to 408. If it would have said that they're angles of a triangle, then it's 180, but we have sides of the triangle. All right, add 3, 6, and 8. I believe you get 17x equals 408. Divide by 17. And 408 divided by 17, if you type it in your calculator, you should get 24. Now 24 is not our final answer. What we have to do is we have to take that number and we have to plug it in by the 3 and by the 6 and by the 8. So we're going to do 3 times 24 and 6 times 24 and 8 times 24. And we're going to get our answers. So again, type those in your calculator. 3 times 24 should be 72. And now, if you look up above, it's 408 inches. So I'm going to label this inches. 6 times 24, that's 144 inches. And 8 times 24 is 192 inches. And so those are our 3 lengths of the sides of the triangle. And if we did it right, they should add up to 408, which they do. Next, proportions. A proportion is an equation stating that 2 ratios are equal. An equation stating that 2 ratios are equal. Go ahead and jot that down in the box. Now for number 5, we need to solve this proportion. Notice I have 2 fractions and they're equal to each other. So this side is a ratio, this side is a ratio, and they have an equal sign in the middle. That makes this a proportion. And we can solve proportions, and we use a method called cross multiplication. So what we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply to solve this. So it doesn't really matter which diagonal you start with, but we're going to do 21 times x, which is 21x. And we're going to do 6 times 31.5. And so I need to type in my calculator 6 times 31.5, and that is 189. So I have 21x equals 189. Divide by 21. These will cancel out, and x equals, it's actually a nice number, it's 9. Now, we don't have to plug it back in anywhere, it just says solve for x, and we did that, so we're done. Let's try another one, solve the proportion for x. So whenever you're solving proportions, you're going to do a thing called cross multiplication. So we're going to multiply 2 times the 4x. See that, how they're diagonal from each other? And that's going to be equal to, and now we're going to do the other 2, it's going to be 5 times x plus 3. So see how the 5 and the x plus 3 are diagonal from each other. Well, 2 times 4x, that's 8x. On the right side, what we're going to have to do is distribute. You're going to distribute the 5 through the parenthesis. And so 5 times x is 5x, and 5 times 3 is 15. Now just keep using your algebra to solve. So subtract your 5x, get it over by the others. These will cancel out. So 8x minus 5x is 3x equals 15. Divide by 3, x equals 5. And we are done because it just says solve for x. Let's try a word problem. Number 7. Alexis can read 20 pages in 30 minutes. At this rate, how long will it take her to read 152 pages? Do you guys ever do this? Maybe you're reading a book for Miss Brayland or something, and you kind of procrastinate, and suddenly your test is tomorrow and you have 152 pages to read? Haha. Yeah, this happens to everybody. Okay, so Alexis can read 20 pages in 30 minutes. So 20 pages takes 30 minutes. And we want to figure out how long will it take her to read 152 pages. So remember, on the left side, we have 20 pages over 30 minutes. Well, when you set up your proportion, you want to match up your labels. So over on this side, we want pages over minutes. It's 152 pages. So we're going to put that on the top, and we're going to put an X on the bottom. So 20 over 30 equals 152 over X. Cross multiply. So we're going to do 20 times X, which is 20X. And we're going to do 30 times 152. Now you probably need your calculator to do that. 30 times 152 is 4560. Divide both sides by 20. These cancel out. And X equals 228, and it would be minutes. So this is technically our answer. It's going to take Alexis 228 minutes to read the pages. I want to know, though, how many hours and minutes is that? So think about an hour. How many minutes are in an hour? Well, there's 60. So if we take 228 and divide by 60, we get 3.8 hours. Now you might be thinking, 3.8 hours, so it's almost 4 hours, but how much is 0.8 of an hour? Well, we can figure that out. Take 0.8 times the 60 minutes. If you type in 0.8 times 60 into your calculator, you get 48. So this is going to take her 3 hours, 48 minutes. Can she do it in one night? Like, if she had to, could she do it? I'd say yeah. She might have to make a pot of coffee or something, but she can do it. Last one. Each summer, Jackson takes a road trip to the Black Hills in South Dakota. If it takes Jackson 2.5 hours to travel 162.5 miles, how long will it take him to travel the 630 miles to Rapid City if he continues at this rate? Well, we set up a proportion. For 2.5 hours, he can go 162.5 miles. Now remember, this is hours over miles. So over on the other side, we have to have hours over miles. So it's 630 miles. So that's going to go on the bottom, and we want to find out how many hours that is. So we put an X on the top. So it's 2.5 over 162.5 equals X over 30. Now remember, to solve a proportion, we cross multiply. So we're going to multiply 162.5 times X. And we're going to multiply 2.5 times 630. So I'm going to type that in here. 2.5 times 630. That is 1,575. Divide both sides by 162.5. Again, I'm going to type that in my calculator, divided by 162.5. Oops. Try that one more time. 1,575 divided by 162.5. I got X equals approximately, I'm going to round this off, it's 9.69 hours. Now, what if I wanted to figure out how many hours and minutes this is? Well, what I could do is, I'm going to leave this number in my calculator, 9.69230077. I'm going to leave that in there. I'm going to subtract 9. So now I just have the decimal. And I'm going to take the decimal, 0.6923 and so on, and I'm going to multiply by 60. So I'm just going to go times 60 in my calculator, and that is approximately 41.5. So this would take Jackson 9 hours, and we'll just say about 42 minutes. Let's just round that up. Have any of you ever taken that trip to South Dakota, seen Mount Rushmore, the Black Hills? It's a pretty cool drive. The drive there actually is a little boring, a lot of wall drug advertisements and not much else, but once you get there, pretty cool spot. So that wraps up Unit 5, Lesson 1. Next, you guys are going to try the practice, Unit 5, Practice 1. If you have questions, please contact us, send us a Schoology message. Otherwise, have a great day.